Hello, welcome back to the Creative Differences Podcast, the podcast where every month is Black History Month, but especially February. I'm Dallas, and I love you all more than Sam Rockwell loves dancing.
I'm Gaby, and, I'm here in spirit today.
I'm also actually. What?
Yeah, you're also
Anyway.
here, and yeah.
But am I?
Oh, there.
Barely,
We're
but
going to
yeah.
find out.
I'm Cassie, and I've always been a Greek mythology bitch, and I continue to be a Greek mythology bitch.
Same.
I'm Demi, and is it really a Sam Rockwell movie if Sam Rockwell isn't dancing?
Nope.
Welcome to another episode of the Creative Differences Podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Madcast Writers, Throwback Thursdays, and a number of other pop culture-related items. Today, we will be giving our review for Argylle and Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Woo-woo.
Bang, 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 bang.
Did he
Yes.
dance to Simon Says? Just kidding. I know he didn't.
Not to Simon Says,
Not the Simon Says, but he does get his dance on.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
That man loves to dance. Before we get into the episode, please like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 because it is officially Black History Month, and you need more Black podcasts, and we are that.
And 3 out of 4 of us are Black.
It's true. And I birthed a black baby.
That's true.
That's true.
Just wanted
That's so true.
to throw that out there.
She
3 out of
is-
4 of us are Black, and the 4th one is the mother to a Black child.
Hmm.
You were
gonna
going to say, yeah.
I was gonna say we're all Black and Gabby's had some Black in her, but that felt like
Yeah, I knew you were going to
start
say
the
that.
podcast.
That feels a little rough.
Feels a little rough.
Feels a little harsh.
We've all got some Black in us at some time or another.
All right. Anyway, Argylle.
Argylle, yeah, why not? Argylle. It is directed by Matthew Vaughn. Matthew Vaughn, you know Matthew Vaughn, or maybe you don't. He directed Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, and all the Kingsman movies. Also Stardust. So,
Which shout out to Stardust forever.
yeah. there's
Henry Cavill's in that one too.
Oh, it's not. I didn't realize that.
Yep.
I think I forgot.
And it's a Charlie Cox movie.
Woo-woo.
We do love Charlie Cox. It is written by Jason Fuqua. I've been told his name is Fuqua, so I've decided that's how we're going to say it. He wrote Ice Age Continental Drift, he wrote Pan, and he wrote the Nickelodeon original musical Rags, starring Keke Palmer, baby.
I love Rags. I'm going to put that out there right now. I love Rags.
When I was looking this up, I was like, the hell is Rags? And then I saw what it was, and I was like, Demi has definitely seen this.
Absolutely. It's a Cinderella
I love
story.
the confirmation.
It's
Yeah,
a Nickelodeon
giving.
musical Cinderella story with Keke Palmer. I was like, yeah, Demi has been all
Wow.
over this.
Oh,
Avon Jogia is also in it, and Max Schneider, who was a phenomenal music artist. Actually, that's how I discovered who Max Schneider is. Super good.
Nice. Shout out to Rags. Speaking of things and people, Demi is all over. Henry Cavill stars in this movie alongside
hey.
Bryce Dallas Howard, Sam Rockwell, Bryan Cranston, Catherine O'Hara, Sophia Boutella, Dua Lipa, Ariana DeBose, John Cena, and Samuel L. Jackson.
Wow.
Yeah, big cast.
Oh, Sophia and Sam back together again.
Back together again with Matthew Vaughn.
I can't remember if I knew Sophia Boutella was in this movie or not until she popped up on screen.
Yo, I feel like she's been gone forever, and now she's just like, I'm
Me too,
resurfaced.
she's
I'm
back.
resurfaced, bitch.
Thank God.
I'm here.
Anyway, continue, Dallas.
Yeah, IMDb summary is a reclusive author who writes espionage novels about a secret agent and a global spy syndicate realizes the plot of the new book she's writing starts to mirror real-world events in real time. All right, Argylle.
Wild.
I think only Demi and I saw this, right?
Yeah.
And we saw it together with
We
a few
saw
of
it
our other friends.
together. We went to Dave and
know.
Buster's.
And then we went to Dave & Buster's.
Fun time.
Oh,
Yeah, it was great. It was a great time.
that sounds amazing.
We had a very unplanned trip to Dave & Buster's after we finished watching the movie.
Yep, on a
Nice.
Thursday night. We love it. So yeah, Argylle. It is, initial thoughts, fun time. Very silly.
So much fun.
Very fun.
Oh, yeah.
Feels a little long toward the end, but,
Oh.
fun time.
Delightful.
And I think it only
maybe?
feels long towards the end because of the amount of plot twists they start throwing at us.
So many. So many.
Oh,
so
wow.
many.
Like Matthew.
Okay.
All right, man. You got to ease up because it was just.
I had fun with every single one of them, though. I was having a great time.
Okay.
It was funny, though. There were like some of them that I was like, that felt very predictable because of how many plot twists we've had coming up.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
But I'm still having
Okay.
a great time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's getting to a point where every time that you would think the movie is about to end, it's like, nope,
Psych.
we got another twist for you.
Oh, wow.
Like there was one plot twist that I called as soon as they dropped the little exposition note for it. I was like, so that's coming back. Cool.
Was it the one with the fan on the email?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
Taylor-
not even just that one. Even the one still having to do with the same character, but before that, there's
Okay.
another one that drops for that. And I was like, Oh, so when's that happening?
Yes, I watched this movie obviously sitting next to Kayla, and Kayla does this thing that I just have to live with, where whenever she figures out a twist, she will lean over to me and say it.
You're like, I love my wife.
Which, like, it's not the same as a spoiler because she doesn't know. She's like
She's
hypothesizing,
guessing, but very well.
It's essentially a spoiler. But it's funny because relating to like character related twists, there's one character that they do like Chris Brown and Stomp the Yard, except
Fuck.
the actor isn't as
Fuck.
famous as Chris Brown was when Stomp the Yard came out. But like whenever a character gets popped early, I don't always laugh,
Yeah.
but it's amusing to me because I think of like
Chris Brown in Stomp the Yard.
a theater full of irate teenage girls who found out Chris Brown got shot.
To get to a completely different, like related but completely different thing, Patrick Stewart plays the Emperor in one of the Elder Scrolls games, and like when he came in, they gave him like basically a whole book of like lore and backstory and who's the character, and he said it's like one of the best acting experiences he's ever had because it was so detailed. He dies in the first 5 minutes. He gives you like
That's
one.
amazing.
It's giving Snoke. It's giving Snoke. In
No,
Last
it's not.
Jedi.
It's really not. All right.
God.
So, but about the movie beyond just the plot twists, I like the story. It's fun. I feel like this is a movie that you watch, like you shut your brain off and you just have a good time for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, and
It's not that deep.
It's really not that deep. It very much leans into its
not.
silliness in a way that I found enjoyable.
Oh,
because-
I love when they do that.
Yeah, after a while, I was like, "You can do whatever you want. I'm here." Like,
I'm
not
along for the ride.
yeah, I'm not
Like
gonna
the
tag
fight
out.
in the third act, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
right, this is what this movie is. Yes. Okay,
Okay.
cool. Like, I forgot that Matthew Vaughn does crazy stuff like that.
And that's when I was really like, yes, this is what I'm here for. Because Matthew Vaughn really let loose, even from like a visual standpoint, with the
Yeah.
colors and the dance number, the music, the smoke. I was like, yep, bring me all of this. And then the skating, just lovely time.
Yeah, it's a fun little story. Really, I think my favorite part for me is actually the performances that all the actors are giving, specifically Bryce Dallas Howard, who like Henry Cavill is at the center of this poster, but this movie is solely like about Bryce Dallas Howard. It's her movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is definitely her movie. And you can tell even from like the marketing, it's clearly that she is the writer, she's the protagonist, but she has a lot more layers than I expected her character to have because, you know, with like
I
2 or
love
3 of
her.
the plot twists comes different parts of her character. It's like, oh, and she's nailing all of them. And I love that.
Nailing like, but even from the beginning when she's just playing all of the panic and the concern that comes with being a person who has now been pulled into this very dangerous world, like it felt very real.
Yeah.
Like in a movie that's very silly, her reaction is very real. And I was like, yeah, I believe you. I believe that you're freaked out by all of this. And I don't blame you because I would be too.
Yeah.
But also on top of that, I do want to say, and I think most people can guess, of course, Bryce Dallas Howard is going to have to do some action girl stuff in this movie. Because yes, she gets pulled into a spy world. You can't just not let her do spy stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really appreciate is that the studio executives, whatever, didn't make her lose weight to have to do it.
Right.
And that makes me very happy. Because I've heard Bryce Dallas talk about how different executives have wanted her to lose weight to play certain characters in certain movies and how she wasn't really vibing with it and wasn't very happy about it. So I like that she got to, you know, be in her own body and in her own skin, but still get to play such a cool character and such a good character on top of that.
Yeah. I love that for many reasons. But let's talk about Bryce Dallas Howard and Sam Rockwell. Because, like you said, the way she plays it is very realistic. And then you have Sam Rockwell who plays the actual spy, and their energy, like her screaming constantly and him just being at another day at work. Like there's one part when they realize there are people coming into the building they're at, and she is like freaking out, screaming. And he's just like, all right, like just pushing her to the side. And it's great. And it kind of shows their whole dynamic in the movie. I love them both. But yeah.
One of the things I also really liked about the movie, bringing Henry Cavill into the conversation, because that's probably why most people might go see this movie, is the way that they pull her book universe into the, like, showing it, and the transitions between the two. And even, like, one of the things that I really loved is that she starts seeing Henry Cavill in the real world.
Yeah.
And the way that they transition between her seeing Henry Cavill versus seeing Sam Rockwell, I thought that was really interesting because it wasn't a thing that I thought that they would bring into the movie. But also there's like this scene where she's writing the book and you've got Henry Cavill spewing the lines that she's writing onto this page. And it's got the background and everything. And she's like, no, that's bad. Delete that. Go back. And like it goes back and does it. And then there's a moment where she's having like writer's block and everything in the background just disappears. And all that's there is like the writing behind him. And he looks so confused and kind of blank stared because he's waiting for her to finally write something. It's so good. And I love it.
It's really good. And you know what's funny is that we recently watched American Fiction. And that does something similar with Keith David.
Yes.
And,
I thought of that too while we were watching it.
Yeah. I was like, I love that this is becoming a thing. But yeah, I really like that. Matthew Vaughn's style choices are really, they keep the movie interesting. Because to be honest, before Sam Rockwell shows up, I was thinking like, am I going to like this as much as I thought? Because it wasn't, I don't know, like certain things weren't really hitting for me. But obviously, before the spy shows up in the spy movie, things aren't always going to hit. But
before the catalyst happens, yeah.
Exactly. When we're still in the normal world or whatever. But Matthew Vaughn, he got another one.
Yeah, it's just a fun time. I've seen people kind of like trashing it online, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's not that deep.
People
I'm just having a good time. Movie. It's charming, it's fun, it's goofy as all get out. It's so silly.
Yeah.
Oh, Catherine O'Hara is great in this movie. Bryan Cranston's great in this movie. I was happy to see Ariana DeBose.
Of course. Bryan Cranston is really good. So for me, it's kind of like, I get what this movie is doing, and I get that your villain, given the story, might just kind of be like mustache twirly. But I was kind of hoping that Bryan Cranston would get a better character to play. Like, he's doing a fair amount, so I'm glad we get to see him a lot. But I was just like, be a better villain. But it's just a silly spy story. This is what you get, so I can't be too mad about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
John Cena is also really fun.
Love John Cena
in his role. What's funny is I would watch like an actual legitimate Argylle movie. I would legit watch a movie that's Henry Cavill, Ariana DeBose, and John Cena solving like spy stuff.
Yeah.
That would be fun too.
That'd be a great time. Dua Lipa showing up, putting her thighs on his shoulders. Nice little surprise.
That dance move happens quite often in this movie.
Way more than
and it's goofy every time. Every time.
Thighs on shoulders? Oh
thighs
my
on
God.
shoulders. Yeah, that's how I would. That's what happens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a time that was. Samuel Jackson's cool. He shows up, and then just like watches a Laker game for a lot of his screen time.
What?
Which feels like Samuel L. Jackson.
He doesn't. He's just having a good time.
He got
just
paid
chilling.
for that.
Yeah. His character.
He probably
really don't have a whole lot to do.
He probably read that his character watches TV the whole time. I was like, great, book it.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Let's go, Matthew.
I won't even have to act, like sit in front of a TV.
He has like a whole conversation with Bryce Dallas Howard and then gets to watch TV for the rest of his role.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a fun time. I recommend, if you just want to have a fun time, silly spy movie, and you can deal with that goofy ass haircut that Henry Cavill has.
Dude,
go for it.
so bad.
But what upset me was he's not the only one with a goofy haircut in this movie, okay? They give Bryce Dallas Howard a goofy haircut at one point in this movie, and I'm just like, why are we doing this?
I'm not going to lie. Hers works for me, and I don't know why, but I was with it.
All right. Oh, my gosh. Moving on to our next one.
All right.
We have Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Woo! I actually watched this.
I
love that for you.
90% of it. 7 out of 8%?
I don't know.
Close enough. I'm not
but why you do the math on that?
It's like 0.56. I don't know. No.
The show is created by Rick Riordan and Jonathan E. Steinberg. Rick Riordan wrote the series of novels, and Jonathan E. Steinberg is most well known probably for creating Black Sails. And the show stars Walker Scobell, who is probably most well known for The Atom Project and Secret Headquarters, Leah Seva Jeffries, who is probably most well known for Beast and Something from Tiffany's, and Aryan Simadri, who is most well known for Cheaper by the Dozen and Trevor the Musical, both of which are Disney Plus projects. And the IMDb summary is demigod Percy Jackson leads a quest across America to prevent a war among the Olympian gods. Yep, that's it.
That explains Poseidon's casting, if one of the creators is Black Sails.
Him and Jessica Parker Kennedy, who were both on Black Sails.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We did it, guys. We made it. To all you book fans out there, we made it. We got to the perfect adaptation, and it's here. It exists. We got season 1. Let's hope we get the next 4 seasons. Let's go.
I have a question for Gaby.
Yes.
Did you read these books growing up?
Nope.
Okay.
It was always on the list, and then I never got to it. So.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if we had like a how mixed we are in terms of watching the show and not having read the books. Because I know that Demi and Cassie were into the books.
Yeah.
And then Gaby, I know that, you know, you be reading, like you're getting a scholarship for it. So I just assume you've read every book.
And you don't read, so.
I really enjoyed reading as a child. But no, it was always on my list, and then I would just like forget to buy it or forget to ask for it, and then so I never got to it or not take it out of the library. But I had always meant to watch it.
Dallas, for the record, the math for your percentage is 87.5%.
I did that while you were doing the intro, yeah. I watched 87.5% of the show.
All right. Cassie, as my fellow book reader, what were your initial thoughts?
It's so good. I just like, oh my God. I mean, we can get into like the actors later because they're just so, oh my God, this show is so good. It's like, because I haven't read the books in a while. I need to reread them, but oh my God, the show, it's just like, the kids are so incredibly good. It's upsetting. And carrying the show on their backs, obviously, because it's mostly about the main trio, but like,
Yeah.
and then, oh my God, it's so much fun. I feel like the monsters are awesome. It feels like there's a lot of heart in it, which there should be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, oh my God, I'm so pleased with like, hey, an adaptation that fucking slaps and hopefully can go on for as long as it needs to really tell this whole story, which is just, yes.
For the record, so we have 2 book readers, one of which I reread the book right before the first season came out. Cassie has not reread the book in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Gaby's never read the books, and Dallas has never read the books and didn't complete the entire series. So, all in different places.
Yes, we have a spectrum of experience with the project.
I didn't read the books. I saw the show, and I saw one of the movies. I saw the first movie. Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that. Gaby, what were your thoughts on the show?
It's really good. I didn't expect it to be this good. I was like, oh, let me just put it on. Then I was like, oh my God. Best thing I did was I waited and binged. And that was because I wasn't doing that at the beginning. And I was like, I need more. So I waited a few weeks and I got to binge like 4 episodes at once. It's great. Yeah, it's a great show. Love it.
Dallas, your initial thoughts?
I thought it was fine. It had moments for me that were like, ooh, that's really dope. But for most of it, I was like, man, I feel like I would be enjoying this a lot more if I had read those books.
We kept trying to get you to read them. You wouldn't do it.
Now don't read.
Yeah, I'm not Cat Williams. I'll be reading 3,000 books a year, whatever you said.
We're asking you to read 5 over any period of time in your life.
Yeah.
It took me literally a week to reread the first book again. And I could have done it faster, but I just didn't feel like reading that many chapters a day. But yeah, just, oh my God, I can't believe it. Because here's the thing about this adaptation for me, is that not only is it faithful to the novel, but it still makes a lot of changes from the book. But those changes don't feel like we're making changes for the sake of making changes. It's we're making changes for the sake of these characters to grow more and for a more, like, for a better television experience, because a prose medium is different than watching a television show.
Yeah.
It just is. And rereading the book made me realize that Rick Riordan, a lot of what he does is like a chapter will revolve around a really big, significant moment in the journey. Mm-hmm. But then everything else in between is we just kind of bypass that. It's just quick descriptions on how that went. We did this, we did this, we did this. Here's the big thing that's important to this journey. And then now we're going to, because it's a road trip across America. Yeah. We got to get from New York to LA and back. I thought that they did a really good job of like taking us to the places that we know we're supposed to go and hitting those plot points, but also changing those plot points so that it's something new for book readers, but it still has the same spirit as what we read before, and it still pushes these characters forward.
Yeah.
Also, the Medusa change was just perfection. Love it.
Very Demi
My girl Jessica Parker Kennedy came to slay, baby. Came to slay. It is Demi coded.
Sometimes you watch something and you're like, he's gonna love it.
In my lexicon.
We should just start using that on the show, on the podcast. We should just start saying Demi coded. We should do Gaby coded, Dallas coded, Cassie coded.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
I love that for us. Like Cassie said, the adaptation slaps. Like it was everything that I wanted it to be, and even more so in certain aspects and areas. And then the actors.
Yo, okay, we gotta.
good.
Where you find these kids at? Where you find these kids at?
Right?
They were incredible, and like the energy. Percy is, I don't want to call it a speech because it's very short. It's like a few lines basically yelling at the gods at the end, in the last episode that like kind of sums up the entire ethos of the series. And it's like, this is one of the best things I have ever seen in my life. Like, you are facing down Lance Reddick, rip, and basically
R.I.P. to the legend.
Peace.
literally like handing him his own ass and doing it
Although Zeus was not having
incredibly
it.
well. No, but like Walker was fucking killing it.
He does a good job.
I knew Walker was killing it from the speech that he gives, like the prayer to his mom that he gives.
Oh
in the
my
first
God.
episode. When he's like, I'm going to make him see me. I'm
Okay,
going to make
watching
him see
it
us.
again, because I binged the first 7 episodes before watching the 8th, and it's so, I don't want to keep doing this because I feel like it'll get egregious, but it's so Anakin Skywalker coded. It's incredible.
It is.
Like the
It's
music,
so
the shot, the like darkness, the way the music turns, and like
Even his hair.
Yep.
Yes,
his hair.
I remember watching the episode for the first time, and when he did that, my brain went Anakin Skywalker.
It really
has
gives
entered
me.
the room.
Is that shot when he finds his mom? That he like it just focuses on him with the Tusken Raiders, and he has that look on his face,
and he's
like
crying. And his eyes have gone red. Real bloodshot red.
Exactly. I was getting that.
It's so good. That was when I knew. I was like, oh, this show is about to hit. Because in that moment, it's not just Walker's acting, but like, because I knew where the show was going.
Yeah.
And I knew where the entire story goes. The way that they position Percy in this place of being against the gods, and then what we end up learning later on down the line about our villains. Like, it was like, oh, I love that you guys are pushing this. I love that we're seeing this in Percy.
That's the thing that I loved is that, how do you do this without spoilers? There is a moment in this show where you get that thing where like the villain tries to tell the hero, no, wait, I'm actually on the right side. And this is one of the only times where like I could see it working. It doesn't, because he's a hero. But it's one of the only times where like based on where the protagonist has been, like what they've been saying, like I could get why you might.
Yeah, they did a good job of introducing the villain's motivations through the hero himself. So then when the hero comes up face to face with that motivation, it's like, how much have you grown as a character? Where are you now that this is like you are going to turn against this thing that you were at the beginning of this show? And I don't want to give any spoilers away for people who don't know the books, don't know the first movie, don't know anything about the story. But yeah, that's also a really well done, a really well written thing. And it matches the book very well as well, because you don't really see it coming if you don't know it's going to happen. I got to give praise to Leah Sava Jeffries, who plays Annabeth.
Yeah.
First off, best girl. Just best girl.
Without question.
All the way through the series. So good. She's so great. And I want to give her so much love and support because of all the racist backlash that was given before the show happened.
And she's so good.
She's like incredible. The speech she gives to Hephaestus.
I was about to say, that
is a highlight of the show.
Oh my God. That and
like
that whole
shout
episode,
out to Lacey.
Hephaestus.
Wait, no. What was his name? What was his nickname? Lassie.
Timothy
Shout out to
Elmonson.
Lassie.
I was so happy to see. I was like, oh my God, it's Timothy
I was
Elmonson.
like, yes. I was like, it's Lassie.
Shout out to him. He's great.
Yeah, that was a really good scene. It's so good. Her throughout that entire episode was just...
yeah, because when she's talking to Percy on the boat, too, it's like, yes, absolutely. Like, I think the show does a really, really good job of really exploring, like, that being the child of the gods is not... It might sound great on its face, but it leaves a lot of trauma, and it really gets into that. And also,
like how these are bad parents.
Like, they're
horrible. My God, they're absentee parents, and when they are around, they're bad. And it's like, which, on that note, incredible shout out to what's her name, Virginia Cole.
Virginia Cole.
Virginia Cole is
that woman.
Oh my God.
I've never cared about Sally Jackson so much in my life,
dude. I didn't.
I care a lot.
So much Sally in this, and I want more. Like the
I want a miniseries.
The like big conversation that she has in like the 7th episode or the 6th one, whatever that flashback. Ooh, like you had no one to say it to, and that's the word. Like, I want her to fight
the
somebody.
two of them. I didn't ship them until I saw them interact, and then I was like, oh no, I ship it.
Well,
I ship it.
like if you read the books, first off, there's not a lot of Sally Jackson. You love her just because she's, you know, just in general a
and because
good
Percy
mom,
loves
and
his
Percy
mom.
loves
Yeah.
her. Yeah, Percy loves his mom. You love Percy. You want Percy to get his mom back.
Yeah.
And she's just a generally good person. Everything that he says about her, she is good. She is a good mom. And good things do end up happening to her further down the line, and that's great. But like we don't know a lot about her relationship with Poseidon in the books. Okay. So this show gives so much like more to that.
It's giving context and like background.
Yeah. Like I'm not shipping Sally and Poseidon, and then I watch them and I'm just like,
I ship them. I ship them
like,
AF.
Not Poseidon showing up immediately.
Yeah, he walked in so quick. I was like,
ship it
she could just summon him.
He's still not a great father. Like he's learning how to be better.
No,
but
he's not.
He's not, and I feel like he deserves somebody who's going to be as much a partner as a lover, and God knows Gabe isn't it.
Yeah, we'll still get that eventually if
so
we keep
fast.
This going.
Oh man, the second because I was like, that doesn't count as burning if it goes out of me. It doesn't matter. What up?
He was like, good enough, close enough. I don't care.
Good enough.
Like
you
summoned.
called, babe? What you need, girl? What you need?
He was like, you called, you rang. I'm here.
I'm here.
And you can tell she never. Notice. You can tell she never calls because he showed up so quick. The thirst.
They were so good, and I knew. I don't know. I think I knew I was going to love Sally Jackson from the moment we saw her sitting in the rain listening to Olivia Rodrigo. I was like, not her being an angsty girl. Okay.
Not her like being completely relatable.
Not her being an Olivia Rodrigo. I was like, I don't know if this is just the fact that I'm now in my 30s.
That was
and
for
not
us.
A little teenage kid anymore.
That was for all the millennials that read the book when it came out. And
I was like, not
watching the show.
Being an Olivia Rodrigo girly. What kind of madness is this? Oh man. Arian Samadri as Grover. Also, I really like what they did with Grover on the show because they changed up a lot of the stuff that Grover does. His mission is still the same, but he just feels different, but in a good way.
I like that because from what I remember, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, in the books he was a lot more like timid, and I like the way
and I still feel that
works.
here.
Like I feel it, but not like timid.
He feels active.
Yes. He's still gonna do the stuff. He's still gonna be like, all right, I don't love this, but we're doing it, so let's go. I'm gonna go like hard in the paint.
And they add like almost a distrust of him at the beginning of the show that I wasn't anticipating. Because that's never a thing in the book.
Sense though.
I like that addition. Again, like there are changes that are made that I'm like, I really like this change that you've done. Yeah. It adds to the character and it adds to the story that we're telling.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of stuff just feels so much more satisfactory when we get to a certain point.
A little bit more layered, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely feels very layered. All the kid actors are so good. Yeah. I'm glad we gave Virginia Cole her shout out because she was one of the actors who I was like, you're killing it. Yeah. Like, every bit of this is so.
She was acting.
So she was acting.
Like you said, it is different to love Sally not because Percy tells us we should, but like because of who she actually is. Like we get to see her being great.
Yeah.
Like.
How do I put it? So I feel like I like the actress's choice to make it like she was serious. She wasn't just like, I'm the mom in a kid show. She was like, no, like this is life or death. I need to do the right thing for my kid. Like she was playing
mom was
it.
A person.
Yeah. And she was playing it with like weight. It wasn't just,
Yeah, and you could tell like the conflict, like that conversation she has with Poseidon of like, do you really want this? And it's like, well, no, but
And even before that, like, I think this is the first time Sally Jackson has actually been given more insight into why she chose the things that she chose. Yeah. Because in the books, like, it's just Sally chose not to send him to camp, but there's never really a reason given. You just assume she just wants her kid with her, which, fair. That's fair. Yeah. What mom would not want their kid to be with them and not send them off to a camp where she'll probably never see him again.
Yeah.
But to give her more of a reason, it's not just I want my kid around, it's I want my kid to turn out a certain way.
Or not a certain way.
Yeah.
Or I want them to know themselves before they have this like, huge thing thrust upon them.
Yeah, and I felt that. Yeah. And I loved that. I liked that feeling. Yeah. The rest of the supporting cast is also great. All the featured actors that we get. Jessica Parker Kennedy absolutely murdering the joint as Medusa. Megan Mullally as Alecto / Mrs. Dodds. was also very, very good.
The guy that plays Ares, he was a lot of fun.
Oh, Adam
love
Copeland,
him.
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was great.
I
delightful.
grew up watching him as a wrestler.
He was a wrestler?
Yeah, he
I
was
mean,
a
that
he's a
makes
wrestler.
sense. He is built.
And he was a home wrecking hussy. But
He was a home wrecking hussy.
yeah, back in the day. But yeah, he was great. He's part of the reason I wanted
That
to
makes
watch
sense for Ares. Ares is also a home wrecking hussy.
That's so true.
I mean, it was his baby mama first, but whatever. I digress.
Just Ares being here in general, just getting the Ares 1v1. I've waited somewhere around 15 years for
Dude,
that scene.
and that was a good SI. I was like, I don't know how he's going to do well. And then I remembered, oh, they're by the ocean. He was like, let me show you who the fuck I am without saying
But it's also different from the book. That's not
Oh.
how it plays out in the book at all. That's not how they get out of that situation.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just like, yeah, I waited just about 15 years for that moment, and just seeing it on screen come to life, I just like, there was so much joy. Like my inner child was not even inner child, my inner teenager, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I didn't read these books until I was a teenager, but just was so happy to finally get that moment. Because I remember the disappointment when it wasn't in the movie.
Oh,
To see it on screen finally, and it looked so good, and it was so cool, and just all the characters are just like, they're the people who I read in this book, and they were perfectly done. It was great. It was phenomenal. That's what this show felt like. It was like a dream come true with somebody who had read all these details before and was finally seeing it brought to life.
Also, regarding Ares, I really liked his scene with Grover when they're talking.
Such a good scene.
Because of the way they play Ares like an aging rock star who's meeting his fan from before he made it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I really like when you did that one. You know, a lot of people don't even know about that
They
war. He was
literally
like,
use it for his
man.
deep cuts.
he
Yeah,
liked
it's
the
like-
deep cuts.
You like the deep cuts? I was like, that's really cool.
He was like an Aries hipster. It's so
Yeah.
good. And that's not a scene that's in the books. That's not a thing that could even happen in the books. So I was like, this is a change, but it's a really good change to make. Even then, like all the tiny details even just make this show great to me. Like the blue food and stuff like Annabeth's cap finally making it.
When the blue
What's the
pancake showed up at the
blue
end.
food?
So Percy, his mom makes him blue food because his stepfather said something along the lines of like, there's no such thing as like blue food. It doesn't really exist. Like I think it's like the conversation we had
Not
like
like
last
naturally
week when we were at
occurring.
the street fair. Blue is not a naturally occurring color in food in nature or something like that. So his mom makes food that's blue. She makes everything, all of his food blue, and she brings him home like blue candies and stuff like
Which,
that. It's
like-
their thing. It's a thing between Percy and his mom.
Shout out to
Aw.
Disney, not shout out, but like, hey, we need to see that happen at camp because he does get that shit at camp. So, which is another connection to his mom. So,
Oh my gosh, the scene where he's just like, I'm Sally Jackson's son. Who's Sally Jackson? That boy
love
was about
that
to kill him.
that's
Yeah.
the thing is, I
Who is
love
Sally Jackson?
how ready
Also, Agent
Percy is
Pimento.
to fight.
Yes.
Percy is so ready to fight a
Yo,
god at any
Percy's
given moment.
like, let's go. I'm ready. I don't know how to use this sword, but I will use
We
it.
gonna scrap in these streets is what we gonna do.
Yep. Also the arrogance, because he's like, you don't know who I am. You know what I mean? Like when he was fighting Ares, I was like, oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This little kid, he has some guts, man.
I appreciate this show going for like story over spectacle, because spectacle is already in the story.
Yeah.
Like, but you know, sometimes you watch a show and the thing for the show will be like, we want to choose the spectacle and the visual over the actual like storytelling. But this show feels like, no, the storytelling is far more important than the spectacle. We want these characters to have their moments, and then if there's spectacle, then we'll give you that, and it'll be because the story dictates it, not
Yeah.
because we feel like being show offy.
Yeah.
Like the visuals look good on this show, but I don't watch the show for the visuals. This show could have sci-fi channel level visuals, and I would still watch it because the story and the characters are engaging.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes a good show, not necessarily your visual effects or anything like that.
Yeah.
My favorite show of all time is a sci-fi show. So like it's all about the story and the characters for me.
Since I have you, Demi, I do want to mention one minor quibble I do have with the show. Mainly, I think the last
Ooh.
episode was where I noticed it. I don't love that Percy is wearing a necklace and that it has a bunch of stuff on it. Because it
Does it?
feels
I don't think
like,
it's just a leather cord, isn't it?
No, by the last episode, it's got like beads on it. And I was like, I wish they hadn't
No,
done
that's
that.
when Annabeth gives him her necklace.
Yeah. Annabeth puts her necklace on him.
Okay.
Her camp necklace for him to wear for good luck.
Yeah.
Because it also
Okay.
has her father's university ring on it.
Oh.
Gotcha. Okay. Do they state that in the show? I can't remember.
No, they do not.
They don't
Okay.
talk about that. That's I think that's a detail
That's for
that you
you
just
guys.
have to know. As
Okay,
a,
yeah,
as a
because I
book
think
reader.
that was bothering me because I was like, no, you have to earn the necklace. And why's it got so much
No.
stuff on it?
He does wear a necklace the entire show, though. He is wearing like a leather cord around his neck, and I'm
Which
wondering
is
if maybe they're going to
fine.
make that into his camp
I would
necklace when he
assume.
finally gets a bead.
Well, I think he has a bead in like the last scene that he's in. I think
I
at
missed what you
the
said,
camp
because
celebration. I think he has a bead. I'm not sure.
How did they earn the beats?
Oh, he might. It's just you get one at the end of every summer, and it has a marking or a drawing on it to dictate the most significant event of your summer.
Okay.
So I think Annabeth's first bead for her first summer has Talia's pine tree on it.
Oh.
Thalia's pine tree on it.
Which,
They
like,
established
that was one of the
Thalia.
things about Annabeth that I found so fascinating is like, as far as I understand it, she grew up with like her dad and a stepmom who sucked. But I don't know how early in her life she like was on the streets, but she's never seen a movie. She didn't know what Disney World was.
The books in the show make it that she left home at 7 years old.
Oh, okay.
Holy moly.
I just like the concept of never seen any movies ever is wild.
That was odd to me,
Especially
too.
in at camp.
Yeah, I don't. So she left her home at 7 and then went to camp? Is that what happened?
Well, she was on the streets for a bit, I think.
Yeah, she was on the streets, but
Okay.
until she got to camp, and she's just been at camp ever since she was 7 years old.
And they don't have movies just like Harry Potter?
No, it's our world. I don't know why they don't have movies at camp, but they just don't.
Well, they don't have they don't have electronics at camp. That's not a thing. That's just like they can't have cell phones. Cell phones will make the monsters track demigods faster.
Oh, yeah.
That tracks.
Also, shout out specifically to the tree. It's a beautiful tree. I would like to see it
It is a
become a
beautiful
person
tree.
at some point. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe we won't.
Hey,
Let's
we're
see.
getting we might be getting close. The writers are saying that they're already working on season 2, even though they haven't been greenlit. So fingers crossed.
Oh, I just like because Thalia is gonna be fucking awesome.
Also,
And she's gonna be black, and that's awesome.
I was gonna say if she's black,
I mean, she has to
little
be
punk
like
black
at
girl
least
needed,
half, because like, hello, Lance Reddick is a black man.
which means Athena's probably black too. We love to see it. we
Ooh,
love
yeah.
to see it.
See, I need more of this because I need to see more of the gods.
Yeah, I saw somebody say that Philippa Sue should play Luke's mom.
I can see it. I can see it.
Is that Eliza?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's a full Hamilton.
Reunion.
But yeah, Percy Jackson Olympians, just
Such good.
officially my second favorite Disney Plus show that's ever been made, because it stuck the landing, I think, a little bit better than WandaVision did. So WandaVision got pushed to 3rd.
Wait.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, I was like,
Willow's number 1. You already know.
when you started
Yeah.
saying WandaVision, I was like, wait, there's no way WandaVision is number 1. What?
No, come on,
Okay.
it's Willow.
Okay.
It's Willow. Willow is number 1.
That's fair.
It probably always will be.
Yeah.
But man, Percy Jackson. Also, there is a behind the scenes documentary on how they made the TV series. It's a wonderful documentary.
It's
I had a
great.
great time watching it. One of my favorite things was there's a moment where they emphasize how important it was for them to make an environment where the kids could still be kids,
Yeah.
especially after long days of work, and also acknowledging like how important it was for them to have such a good support system outside of being on set. So when they go home, having that really nice support system of their family. And I really enjoyed how much they involved the parents as well in the interview process of the documentary.
Oh
and
my
like
God.
Walker's dad talking about his son finding his purpose in life.
Oh
I
my
was just
God,
like,
that
dude.
hit so hard. He's like, yeah, finding your purpose in life, so young. I'm 45 and I still don't know what my purpose in life is. And I was like, oh God, that hit hard.
Yeah, but it was a beautiful moment. Like he was, crying over his son's success.
Yep.
And there's also Leah's parents talking about how hard she works and how much she's
Right.
trying to prove to herself that she is this character. And I was just like, girl, you did it. Like you did it.
100%.
You are
100%.
Annabeth. And whatever any of the haters said, they were wrong. Like you are this character and you did that. So it's a really great documentary. I highly recommend it. It's called A Hero's Journey. It's on Disney Plus. That's actually one of my favorite things about Disney Plus is that all their really, really big shows tend to get a behind the scenes documentary about how it was made. Even Willow got one. So it's really dope. I love those.
Disney, please greenlight seasons 2 through 5.
Please
And if
get
you wanna
on
do a
that.
spin-off
Just
after
green
that.
light it.
Just do
You
all
want
of
to do the
them.
sequel series? That's fine too. I'm not gonna.
Give us the sequel series. Give me a mini series about Sally Jackson and Poseidon falling in love.
Oof. Yes.
Give me all of it. If you had told me before the show started I would care so much about Sally Jackson, I'd have been like, really?
I need to see what like sad, wet, miserable white boy they will cast for Nico. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, for Nico?
Yeah. They got to cast someone who looks like he's never seen the sun a day in his life and has never been happy a day in his life in the beginning. And then he can grow to realize that he can be happy. But like,
question, who's Nico's dad or mom?
Hades.
How could he cheat on Persephone? That's incorrect.
Again, this is why I need the sequel series, because Hades also has a beautiful black daughter who's wonderful.
Oh.
She's wonderful. I need my Hazel.
I need Hazel.
Hades.
So Hades over here having multiple forbidden children? Wow.
We'll give you the lowdown.
No.
No, Persephone. Because Persephone's not in the book.
She's not in the books? So that was just in the movie.
Sorry, that was just a gift that they gave us.
We only get Rosario Dawson.
I mean, they might have her later.
There are 2 gifts that the movie gave us. Okay, it was Rosario Dawson as Persephone.
Yeah.
And the Lady Gaga song during the Lotus Casino scene, which, by the way, I think the show did a fantastic job of choosing a pop song for this version of the Lotus scene. Yeah. Because I started dancing immediately.
I was looking around like, where's Persephone?
Yeah. I was like, where is she?
Not here, because she's not in the book. But then again, Hermes is also not in the book, and Hephaestus is also not in the book.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll get her.
Yeah. I mean, she pops up. I know for a fact that she's in The Last Olympian, which is the 5th book.
Hey, if they want to
bring back Rosario,
give us Persephone, I'm like, please and thank you.
Sir. All right, we should move on because we spent a lot of time talking about Percy Jackson and the Olympians. What you been watching? We usually start off with Cassie's 10-minute takes. So, Cassie, what is your 10-minute take today?
All right. So today's 10-minute take will excite Dallas because he put it on there. And literally, I think the reason was, I love this and I want you to love it too, or something like that. So my 10-minute take was for Spectacular Spider-Man, which, fun fact, I could not find on the streaming service. It's on YouTube, but like, why? Why did we do this?
They took it off Netflix?
Yeah, because when I saw that you had said it's on Netflix, and I was like, no, it ain't. And then I did a search, and it was like, yeah, it was on Netflix. And then they took it off. And it was on Disney Plus and Hulu, and then they took it off. And I was like, why do you keep doing that? Anyway, Spectacular Spider-Man is about Spider-Man, as you would expect. Yeah. He's a teenager. He's fighting crime, being Spider-Man, being sassy, having quips. It's Spider-Man. Like, he is Spider-Man, and you expect him to be Spider-Man. I think the first 10 minutes of the show takes place, it starts on the night before the start of junior year of high school for him. And he's like stopping a bank robbery. And then Keith David is watching from the shadows and is like, yo, we need to get a squad. This kid sucks. I mean, sort of. And then, like, because, it's Spider-Man, you have to balance Peter Parker and Spider-Man. The next scene is May talking to a friend like, oh, my God, we're running out of money. I'm going to go broke. Don't tell Peter, though.
Big broke.
But Peter overhears anyway because he's Peter. He goes to school. He gets bullied at school. But it's okay because he's Peter Parker. It's so funny to me. I always find it funny when when like 2 characters are going to end up together. So it's like, what are these other relationships for? And it's big energy when he's like, oh my God, Gwen Stacy. And I'm like, y'all just throw her off the building now. We'll be fine. I
do get that feeling a lot, which is why it's really hard for me to ship main couples after a while, because I'm just like, man, this is boring. I already knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, but I guess it's how you get there.
Sometimes those other relationships are good stepping stones into making the character into a better person. Like, you learn a lot in those relationships, and you just become better.
I think, what is it? He and Gwen get internships with Dr. Connors, who you don't see in the first 10 minutes, but it's like, hey, you got an internship in classic Harry and Norman fashion. Peter's hanging out with Harry. And Norman shows up, and it's like, oh, you got an internship with Dr. Connors? That's slaps. Harry, you're trash. He doesn't say that, but he's like, oh, so you didn't get offered an internship, bitch? Then that's the first 10 minutes, and it feels very like quintessential Spider-Man. Like hitting a lot of the beats.
It's Spider-Man.
Like, I don't rock with Spider-Man that much. I'm like, I'll watch Spider-Verse, I'll watch the Spider-Man stuff, and I don't like rock with it that hard. But like, if I did, this feels like this is what you expect Spider-Man to be. Like, even in the first 10 minutes, it was very clearly established, like, Spider-Man is quippy and funny, and Peter Parker is balancing being in school and trying to get a girlfriend and May being broke as fuck and like having an internship and like, yeah, that's the guy. Seems pretty solid.
That's the show. And someone who like grew up loving Spider-Man, it was perfect for me because I love Spider-Man so much. And Greg Weisman like nailed it. But also the Gwen Stacy thing, I think I really love because Lacey Chabert plays Gwen Stacy, and I love that. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Lacey is Gwen Stacy, and she does a great job.
Wow.
But also they do this friendship thing that like, you know, I'm always a proponent of friends to lovers versus, you know, whatever to lovers. And when they bring in Mary Jane, it's not just, oh, Mary Jane's here, she's hot, be with Mary Jane now. Like, Mary Jane is a platonic friend for most of this show, even to the point of like helping him with his feelings for Gwen and stuff like that. I was like, this is all so healthy and I love it. Yeah, like Mary Jane, Vanessa Marshall plays her. Shout out Vanessa Marshall. Just fantastic. I
love Vanessa Marshall. She plays one of my favorite Star Wars characters.
She's great.
In fact, the same Star Wars character that Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays on Ahsoka.
Yeah, she's great. It's all great. Yeah, Demi, maybe I should recommend this to you. I think you would like it.
We probably would.
I still got to do Justice League.
Oh my God, you got to do Justice League. I'm not recommending anything to you until you do Justice League.
Dallas, what you been watching?
What I've been watching. The Bear, created by Christopher Storer.
Yo,
You started watching The Bear?
Yes, I have finished season 1 of The Bear.
Yes.
Welcome to it.
Yes. Yeah, created by Christopher Storer, who I realized directs a lot of comedy specials. He did What and Make Happy for Bo Burnham, Feelings for Rami Youssef, and he's a executive producer on Rami, so that's cool.
Nice.
So he knows what it is to stress out your audience.
Yep.
And
Clearly.
yeah, it's
Especially.
And, you know, stars Jeremy Allen White, Eben Moss Backrack, Ayo Adebari, Lionel Boyce, Liza Colon Zayas, Abby Elliott, and Maddie Matheson. I started season 2, but I haven't got enough into it to actually talk about season 2, so I'm just going to talk about season 1. So one thing I do when I'm watching a show is I go and serialize, and all my reviews are just like a sentence of my thoughts. So to give you guys my thoughts, I'm going to run down my journey of The Bear in 2.5 minutes. So, episode 1. I see why this show stresses out all my anxiety-ridden friends. That will be you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Episode 2. This dude Carmi is dying, all caps. He on the phone listing symptoms like a sleep medication commercial.
Oh my God.
Episode 3. Marcus is the best. Tina is the worst.
Yeah.
Episode 4. We'll get back to Tina. But man, I hated her in episode 3. Episode 4. Everybody be nicer to Pete. He seems like a sweet guy. Marcus continues to be the best. Also, that long day of work sigh from Tina right before the credits rolled. I've seen that sigh. I felt that. Great note to end on. And the Xanax at the kids' party is the highlight of the season so far.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that. Also, I didn't write this down, but shout out to Oliver Platt because Cicero kind of steals every scene he's in to me. Like and I saw the clip before I actually saw the show of Carmi telling him about the kids. And he's like, are they dead? He's like, I think they're just sleeping. He's like, whatever, I'm kind of into it. Oliver Platt is fantastic.
I can't wait for you to finish season 2 so that I can tell you my thoughts about Pete because I love him.
Okay.
And I have thoughts about why the family doesn't like him.
Yes, I can't wait to get into that. Continuing. Episode 5. I just want Marcus and his roommate to open a bakery together.
Yeah.
Episode 6. Loving Tina's face turn. This is when I started to like Tina. Worried that Marcus is going to spiral in a bad way over these desserts, though. Episode 7. The one-shot episode.
Yep.
This is the episode I needed to see to get why this show is what everyone says it is. And by that, I meant as stressful and as good as everyone says it is, because up to that point, I thought this is really good, but I hadn't really thought like this is amazing. And I thought, I see why y'all are stressed out, but this hasn't really hit me that stressed that hard.
Not. Episode 7 is that episode.
Did all of that. 5 stars for stress, 5 stars for writing, 5 stars for everything. Continuing. I knew Marcus was going to lose it with those donuts. Also, Tina coming to check on Sid could have been such a nice and wholesome moment. And another episode on another show, I feel robbed of that warmth.
Oh.
And then episode 8 is I love how much Richie and Carmi really care about each other. I'm such a sucker for character redemption. I love Tina. And I almost stood up and cheered during the tomato can scene. What a way to end a season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You have to do this again when you watch season 2.
Yeah.
Because when you get to the Christmas episode, oh my God. Wait, not the Christmas episode the Richie episode. Yeah, there are a few episodes in season 2. Just
It's like
I'm
the
hearing good
last
things about the Richie episode.
5 minutes of the season for me. Just,
But yeah,
immaculate.
I do like the show. I knew I would like the show. It's one of those that, I just had so many shows to watch. It wasn't like, I don't think I like it. So everybody told me it was great. And I was like, yeah. And then I looked at Kayla. I was like, you want to start the bear? She was like, yeah, we can do it. So we did. Also,
Yay.
I wish the show existed when I was working the back of concessions at Argylle. Because
You would have been like, yes,
completely
chef.
changed the energy back there. Like,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
making 56 hot dogs for the Avengers movie would hit real different.
yes, chef.
Yes, chef. Hands. Like,
Hands.
and I've seen a clip of the super stressful one when Io is trying to talk to him. And he's like, get off my line. Like, I could see so many people doing that in the bag of concessions at Argylle.
Get off my line. Even just making boxes.
Just making boxes.
Just get off my line. We're making boxes, dude. Calm down.
But yeah, great show. I love everyone in it. Tina is my Jamie Tart for this show.
Nice.
Except it was a lot quicker because it was like episode 3.
It only took her a season.
Episode 6, I love you. But yeah, great show. I know it's coming back with season 3. I don't know when.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's been like...
We'll talk about it then when it does, though.
The last 2 Junes. If and when I finish season 2, I'll probably do this again for that. Because it's...
Please.
Man, it's what everybody said it was. But, okay, last thing. That one-shot episode,
Yeah.
So
I had
good.
heard about it, and I didn't realize it was that one until, like, way too long into the episode.
Yeah, because you don't realize.
They do it in such a smart way because the first shot is just old boy reading the review. And it's like, okay, there's nothing in here that makes me think, oh, is this a one shot? It's a guy reading a newspaper. So then they go over to Io, they go over to Carmi. But until Richie walks over to the window and they push in on him, I was like, this is that one. They haven't cut yet. So I was like, oh my God, this is that one.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I even realized it was a oneer until like the episode ended. And I was like, that was like 20 minutes. Is it supposed to be this short? I had to go look it up. And I was like, oh, that was one shot.
Yeah.
To me, I didn't know it was a one shot until you told me it was a one shot.
Okay.
I was like, I'm super stressed out this whole episode. I'm never watching this episode again.
Gaby had also seen this show far before I did. I only watched it for the first time over the previous summer that we just passed.
Yeah.
That was my first time watching it.
I watched it like when season 1 came out.
I'm glad it wasn't just me because I was like, I want to say like 9 minutes in. And I was like, I can't believe I didn't realize it was what. Demi's going to be so disappointed in me. But
no, I didn't realize either.
No.
It's
just very well done.
It's very smooth.
You know what it is they used moving through the kitchen as kind of semi cuts, like they
like where a cut would be,
They go past like I think it's like anytime they do a turn, it feels like a cut, but it's not. They're just turning.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of motivated movement, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. I say as somebody who had an assignment in film school once where I had to do an entire one shot that you could only move the camera when it was motivated by character movement or action. Funny enough, Cassie, your sister, is in that project of mine. But
wow.
But yeah, it's such a good episode.
Yeah. 5 stars.
5 stars. Gaby, what have you been watching anything or you been working?
Dude, I've been working, but I'm rewatching Bridgerton right now because season 3 is coming in a couple months. And I know it's about to take me that long to rewatch everything. So I've rewatching. And first of all, love Bridgerton. If you don't know what Bridgerton is, it is, period piece, but spicy.
Very Gaby coded.
It is Gaby coded. I'm loving the new term romantasy that's going around right now.
Yes, it is definitely romantasy. Season 1, the main male love interest for season 2, he's in season 1 as well. And the glow up between because I watched season 1 and then I didn't rewatch it before season 2 because it wasn't going to be relevant. Like it was a new story. So I was like, I'm just going to watch season 2. And now watching from the beginning and seeing him that entire first season and then first episode of season 2, and he looks way more attractive. Like he was pretty attractive in season 1, but like they just gave him this, like he kind of looked a little bit silly. They gave him like really big sideburns and like his hair was like more of that time period, and then they gave him more of a modern haircut that got rid of the sideburns, and he just looks more polished and more just like just wild. And now they're doing the same glow up between for the male love interest in this season. And like you could see in his press releases and like the pictures and the way they're dressing him for like promo, that like there is a glow up, and it's wild to see. And I think it's interesting what they're doing. It's almost like they're still handsome, they're still polished, but when it's their turn to be the love interest, they're like,
oh, you're spotlighted, my guy.
Yeah, and they make them look just, it's like night and day. Like out of nowhere, you're like, why didn't I notice this before? It almost feels like it's on purpose.
Probably is.
The glow down feels like the glow up is obviously on purpose, but then for a second you're like, wait, did they glow them down a little bit? Did they like, take a little bit of the shine away? I don't know. Anyway, so that was wild to see. Season 2 is delightful. I love the relationship between the main characters, main love interests, because they're rivals and they're so great, and they don't want to fall in love, but they do, and it's so good. Season 2 is wildly different from the book. So if you've read the book, but you haven't seen the show, I don't see why you wouldn't have, but it's wildly, wildly different. And that's entertaining too. So, love Bridgerton. Can't wait to season 3. So excited. Woo.
That's nice.
Cool. All right, we're going to do, I love this. This actually ended up being perfectly timed because I was always going to talk about this show on this episode. You guys will find out why it's perfectly timed later. But
I know why.
You know why. I'm going to talk about a show called Upright, which is created by Chris Taylor, and it stars Tim Minchin, who is also a writer on the show, and Millie Alcock, who we'll be talking about later, most well known for House of the Dragon. The IMDb summary is 2 misfits thrown together by chance in the middle of the Australian desert forge bonds in a quest to transport a precious piano from one side of the country to the other. That is the synopsis of the first season, which is phenomenal and great. Second season is also phenomenal and great. It's a comedy. And I'm going to recommend this show to Dallas and Gaby.
This is the most random pairing of people I've ever seen in my life. Tim Minchin
and Millie Alcock. Yes. But that's the point. That's the point. It's these two so random, chaotic misfits who like probably should never have met, but they become so important to each other and teaching each other just like about life, and just like they're so messed up and are just trying to find their way through life, and meeting each other just like makes their life better and worse in certain ways.
Wow.
I'm recommending it to you guys because I feel like it's like a comedy in the same sort of way of like Shrinking, where it's funny, but it's also very dramatic at times.
Okay.
And just the acting is so good. And just like, I feel like the show touches on like mental health as well because of Tim Minchin's character, especially in the first season, but also like losing loved ones or the potential of losing a loved one, and like what happens when you actually, not even just the potential of losing a loved one, because Millie Alcock's character Meg has actually lost a loved one, and just like grief and the mistakes that you make in life and how those can, like the consequences of those mistakes, but also how you have to like deal with that instead of running away from those problems. It's so good. It's such a good show. Their chemistry is so good. Like they're just like, he almost feels like a big brother to her.
Okay.
That is so annoyed with like her mischief and her antics, but also like he needs her in certain ways along this voyage. And like she's so kind of angsty, moody teenager, but also just chaotic as hell and so funny and mischievous, and you never quite know when you can trust her or if you can even trust her at all. So first season is them transporting a piano across the desert. Second season is Meg comes to him to help her find her mom. So the second season is about her looking for her mom, and that goes into crazy places. So it's a really good show. The acting is so good. The writing is really good. It's an Australian show, so good luck finding it. I think it's on a streaming service in America. I just don't remember which one, but it is an Australian comedy, but it's fantastic. And I also do appreciate that during second season, they give like a disclaimer at the beginning that states how grateful they are, and for they shot on like native lands. So they put a message at the beginning saying that they acknowledge that they are shooting on native lands and that they really appreciate shooting there and stuff like that in front of every episode, which is really cool and really nice. I like that. So yeah, fantastic show. It's a good comedy, really well written, good drama as well in the midst of all that. And it's a fun story, and you really fall in love with these characters. So I'm going to highly recommend Upright. It's so good. It is also really short. I think it's like 8 episodes per season. There's only 2 seasons, and they're like 30 minutes long. And there was like a 3 or 4 year gap between the seasons. So it was like they did one season when Millie Alcock was, you know, like a teenager, still pretty young. And then she did House of the Dragon. And then she came back and hung out in the wilderness with them for season 2. So love that. Love that for her. But let's get into our trailer tracking and our news recap.
Also, last thing. I looked it up while you were recommending it to me. It's on AMC Plus in America.
Yes. There we go. I was like, I know it's on one that I don't have.
Same.
I don't have that one either.
Trailer tracking. We have one trailer, and it is the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Looks so good.
I'm so hyped.
We love Guy Ritchie. We're Guy Ritchie fans.
Yeah, so like I recently rewatched Operation Fortune. This movie looks like basically that, but like if Inglourious Basterds was made by Guy Ritchie instead of Tarantino, then it will be this. And as someone who likes Guy Ritchie more than Tarantino, this is for me.
Woo!
Also, I think it's really funny because, well, first off, on theme, because Henry Cavill is in this movie.
True.
Yeah.
Which he was in Argylle. But also, like, we've talked about how Guy Ritchie, like, his typical style is the style that we really, really like, especially you, Dallas. But he's also made some more serious stuff that isn't quite your taste.
Yeah.
And before this trailer came out, I couldn't tell what the vibe was going to be because it is based on a true story.
Yeah.
I was like, it could be one of his more dramatic pieces.
Yeah.
Or he could just, you know, do his Guy Ritchie thing. Thankfully, he's doing his Guy Ritchie thing.
So
and it
glad
looks so
he's
much
just
fun.
doing
It
himself.
looks so much fun. He got the ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Carrie Ellis is back trying to wrangle a bunch of lunatics.
Yes. Giving Devereaux again. A little more polished, a little less silly.
Yeah, he's got Henry Cavill again. This is the second movie that he's done with Henry Cavill after Man from U.N.C.L.E. Once again, playing a spy and playing a very charismatic spy, if I do say so myself. I love Napoleon Solo, and I think I'm going to love this character too.
Dude, he looks like he's having a ton of fun.
So much
like,
fun.
When he just like shoots all the people and then turns around, just
the crazy laugh that he gives when he sneaks up on these guys.
When he did that laugh and it was like, that's very good. That was like, this is going to be my favorite Henry Cavill role. Because just to see how much fun he's having, and I didn't get into The Witcher. Superman, it was a journey.
Hit or miss.
Like seeing him do this, just like that laugh, the crazy eyes. This is gonna be my favorite. I can't wait.
The madman energy, the chaotic energy, but
you get him polished.
My girl Asa Gonzalez, Ace is in there.
Also looking a little crazy.
And
just being a hottie though, unhinged hottie.
I need everybody to just be so unhinged, and I love when people are unhinged. Well, there's a shot in the trailer of her on a stage, and it looks like she might be singing, which would excite me because Asa had a singing career before she became super successful. Well,
she did.
Before she became successful in America.
Yeah, because
she was successful in Mexico already.
We knew who she
was. A pop star down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she was a novela star and also a pop star. And I knew her song. Like, I went back and listened. I was like, oh, I know some of these songs from my childhood.
It would be cool if I don't think I've seen her in a movie yet, in an American movie yet, that has used those singing talents. So that would be really cool if there's a moment in this movie where she gets to sing. I also really like the rest of the ensemble.
Yeah.
Alan Ritchson is in this movie. Alex Pettyfer's in this movie. Henry Golding's in this movie.
I didn't see Henry in the trailer, but I see his name.
Henry Golding's in it?
Yeah, he's in it. I think he's in the trailer. I think there's like one shot of him.
I've seen it a couple times,
him.
and I keep seeing his name, and I'm like, where is he?
He's in the promo shots as well for the movie.
Okay, makes sense.
So this is going to be fun. Also, apparently, Guy Ritchie must have really liked working with, he must really like working with Henry Cavill. This is their second movie together. Must really like working with Henry Golding. This is their second movie together. And he just cast Asa Gonzalez for a second movie together. So he must really have liked working with her too.
Did you mention Carrie Elwes? As well.
And Carrie Elwes. Apparently, they've worked together before too.
Yeah. Carrie Elwes, Henry Golding. Also,
I'm surprised Hugh Grant's not there.
That'd be great. But one of the dudes from Book of Clarence, the one who played the...
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that you say Book of Clarence because my brain, every time I see him, I think, oh, he's in Dune.
He is, yeah. So he's having a year.
He's in Dune Part 1. I don't think he's going to be in Dune Part 2. He died in Part 1.
Well, yeah, probably not in Part 2. He did.
Cassie, do you have any thoughts?
I watched the trailer and I was like, all right, this looks like Inglourious Basterds, but nobody's probably going to try to say the N-word. I don't know if they do in that one. I just kind of assume he'll try to sneak it in there somewhere. Have I seen any of Guy Ritchie's movies? I don't know. They just have never really looked like my vibe. So, I don't know. Like, it looks like it will probably be a fun time for people. Not my thing, but hey.
This is not the Cassie coded.
No.
Mr. Trey was like, this isn't one for Cassie.
But we always need the indifferent opinion, and we don't have time to do a whole section for that. So
I forgot about that. But also, speaking of Inglourious Basterds, Till Schweiger, who plays Hugo Stiglitz in Inglourious Basterds, is in this movie. So
wild.
He's doing both. Love that for him.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm excited.
It's gonna be exciting. Jumping into our DCU news, which is the reason why my choice for what you've been watching was so on theme.
Yes.
On accident. Millie Alcock officially cast as Supergirl in the DCU. She will be playing Supergirl in Supergirl Women of Tomorrow. And a lot of people are assuming she is also going to be in Superman Legacy for her first appearance, which is probably why they haven't announced a director for Supergirl quite yet.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when the screen test news was literally the last time we reviewed a movie. It's in our last review. We talked about it. And I talked about how I was so excited at the idea of Millie Alcock playing the character, and that if she got it, I would not shut up about it for weeks. I'm not going to shut up about it for weeks. She's so good. And a lot of the reason why I really wanted her for the role isn't just House of the Dragons. It is mostly from Upright. It's mostly what she does on that show that makes me really believe that she's going to pull off this character. Another reason why I think Dallas should watch it, because then he would have an idea of what he's getting into, but also I think he would actually really like that show. She's going to be so good. She's so good on House of the Dragons. She's so good on Upright. And I finished reading the comic. I almost cried. I almost cried in like the last issue. And if the movie is anywhere near as good as the comic series, oh my gosh, this is just going to be, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be an excellent comic book movie. I screenshot like 2 of my favorite panels because it's a speech that there's a character named Ruthie in the comic who is traveling with Supergirl, which basically the synopsis of the comic, and I think the movie as well, because it was in one of the casting announcements, is that Supergirl is celebrating her 21st birthday out in space, having a good time, and she comes across this young woman named Ruthie who hires her to help her get revenge on the man who killed her father.
Okay. Sounds intense.
And it's a very good comic series. It's very intense. There's a lot more genocide than I was anticipating.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. The bad guys doing horrible things.
Oof.
As they do.
I saved these 2 panels because of the speech that Ruthie gives to Supergirl. And it's like, it was the part that almost made me cry. And it's one of the things that I hope that I hope they have a speech like this in the movie and that it's something similar to this. But Ruthie says, "But watching you, being by your side these many days, I can't help but think that Grace did not die with my father. That there is a mighty wheel still churning in the universe, moving us all forward. And it is each of our responsibility to pay respect to that fate. Worlds will live and worlds will die, and evil will carve its name into the innocent, and good people will do good acts and suffer all the same. And everywhere girls will be born with their eyes open to the hate ahead of them, and they will wonder if their voice will be heard above the screams. And in that moment of doubt, they will learn, as I have learned, of the legend of Supergirl, who lost everything and kept on walking. Then they will settle themselves, content in their power, knowing someone out there has survived the storm. That tomorrow, when malice will make its attempts and help is begged from the heavens, there is a woman waiting." And oh my God, I was like, what a well-written speech. What a moment. What an impactful, like, this is what superheroes are for.
It's gonna be a heavy one.
It's gonna hit so hard. One of the best issues is probably issue 6, which is it shows how we know the story of how Krypton died. We see it every time we watch a Superman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, from Kal-El's point of view, he was a baby. Like, so when we watch Krypton die, it's a very quick, and the baby was shot off and the planet's gone. Oh no.
Oh no.
From Kara's point of view, it's at least in this series, Kara was a teenager when her planet died. She knew people she saw, people that she knew died. She lost all of her friends. She lost her family. And in this comic series, it's not just like the planet dies. The capital city remains. It's still on land and it's still floating through space.
Oh.
But then she's watching all of these thousands of people die as well, slowly but surely. Like, she watches people die by explosion and flame when Krypton dies, And then as Argo City is dying, she's watching people die from disease and from radiation poisoning. And like, it's a slow process until finally her father is like, I can save you. You're the only one I can save. And then he sends her off. It's this whole emotional thing. And this comic series is so much about trauma and about grief and how to move forward and processing. And just, it's so good. And to get to see Millie Alcock do that, she's going to do it. I know she is. I saw House of the Dragon. I saw Upright. I know she's going to pull this off. I know that she's got the edge. I know that she's got the emotional moments. I know that she's got the funny moments. Somebody posted on Twitter her acting on Upright, and we're like, drunk Kara at the pub.
Hi.
This is, Meg.
Who the fuck is Meg?
I'm the fuck is Meg. Who the fuck are you?
Whoa.
And I was like, yeah, I certainly hope so. It's like her acting in that moment is so perfect. I need it. I need it like I need air. I'm so excited. And it sounds like it got pushed up because of all the strike stuff that happened. So it looks like we'll be getting it sooner rather than later. James Gunn said some stuff got rearranged and some stuff got pushed up and some stuff got pushed back. And this seems to be one of the things that got pushed up. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to see who they cast as Ruthie and as Krim. Krim is our villain of the story. But especially Ruthie. A lot of people are saying Ariana Greenblatt would be really good for that role. And I have to agree. She'd be perfect for that.
She usually is. She's good in everything I've seen her in.
It's going to be dope. It's going to be so good. I can't help but hope that it's going to be amazing because the comic was super good. And it doesn't have to like be tied to anything else because it is a standalone story of its own. So,
right.
Okay.
So it's great. It's good. It's only 8 issues. If you haven't read it, please, I highly recommend it. It's such a good story from beginning to end. And it starts off with Supergirl being drunk. What more can you ask for?
I mean, I've never asked for that before.
It's a very fun time. It's so much fun. But yeah, Millie Alcock as Supergirl. She's going to be amazing. She's going to stunt. She's going to show out. I know she is. And I'm so happy because I had to stop thinking about it for a while. I was like, don't think about it because then it won't happen. Because I wanted Emma Mackey as Lois Lane, and I thought about it a little too hard. And I love Rachel Brosnahan, though, and she's going to kill that, too. But Millie Alcock as Supergirl, chef's kiss, perfect casting. Let's get it.
Love that for you.
Speaking of good casting, Colman Domingo and Nia Long are set to play Joe and Katherine Jackson and Antoine Fuqua's Michael Jackson biopic.
Oof.
Colman Domingo is going to be terrifying, as he often is when he's playing these types of roles.
Yeah. I'm both scared and excited, question mark. I don't know how I feel about this movie, but it's going to be some good acting.
It's going to be some great acting.
We need soundbite from Teddy Perkins.
I want this wing of the museum to be dedicated to great fathers. My father, Joe Jackson, Marvin Gaye Sr., Tiger Woods' father, Serena Williams' father.
Michael Jackson's father. Yeah, I don't. This is like, there's a lot of talent in that sentence. Colman Domingo, Nia Long, Antoine Fuqua, Michael Jackson. But I'm not super interested in the movie, but I do love Colman Domingo and I do love Nia Long. I do love Antoine Fuqua, so I'm all for it.
I am interested in the fact that Michael Jackson's nephew is playing Michael Jackson, so
which
I'm curious.
one? Whose son?
His name is Jafar Jackson.
Jafar Jackson.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
What a name.
That's his name. Yeah, I'm interested. I love Michael Jackson, and I've heard a lot of, like, from my own family, I've heard a lot of personal stories about Michael Jackson because my grandmother used to work at Motown.
Oh, wow.
So I'm interested. I want, because there have been so many movies made about Michael Jackson. There have been a number of them made about his childhood, and I am curious to see what they're gonna do with the big budget studio movie about Michael Jackson, because I don't think that's been done at all. I think they've all been TV movies for the most part, or miniseries.
There was like the 2 big ones when we were kids.
Yeah. Colman Domingo, if what we know about Joe Jackson is true, it's gonna be terrifying.
Yep. It's gonna be a rough time.
And Nia Long is gonna be wonderful, because
yes,
she always is.
Nia Long. All right, speaking of well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what you got for that.
Movies that give you 90s nostalgia? Beetlejuice.
Ooh.
All right, that works.
Beetlejuice number 2. Do you think the third one's going to be called Beetlejuice?
I hope so. That better be what it's called.
That's the only reason they could be doing this naming convention.
Yeah, they need to complete the cycle. They now have to make a third one.
Even if this makes $0, you have to make a third one called Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't even care what that one's about. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I
But
agree.
the point is they released their first poster,
Yep.
which gave the name of the movie, which is Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And confirmed that the movie is still coming out on September 6th.
Woo.
I am so
Excited.
glad that
Can't wait.
I don't work in a movie theater anymore. 'Cause that would just be so annoying. Like, can you imagine if you did, like, if there were theaters that were showing both as, like, a special thing? It'd be like, do you want Beetlejuice? Do you want Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice? Like, no, I would quit on the spot.
Oh. Well, they
Beetlejuice,
probably,
Beetlejuice.
hopefully, you'd be like Beetlejuice Part 2, Beetlejuice 2. Hopefully.
Maybe.
And
I don't know.
I'm just mostly excited because Jenna Ortega is going to be in it.
And so is Winona Ryder again.
Hey.
And Jenna Ortega is playing Winona Ryder's daughter, I think.
Yes. Yes, she
So-
is.
Exciting. I love Jenna Ortega after seeing Wednesday. I just saw Miller's Girl, which I could have reviewed and I didn't. But she's so good in Miller's Girl. I don't care what y'all reviewers say about that movie. She's really good in it. So I have yet to see a performance from her. That's bad. So she's the it girl for a reason.
And she likes to be spooky now, so
Yep.
perfect casting.
I think she's always liked being spooky.
Yeah.
Even better.
I always get very happy when she's in stuff that I can actually watch.
That's true. Yeah, you weren't down for X.
Yeah, I'm not down
Or
for X.
Scream.
She's really good in You. She's really good in Wednesday. Beetlejuice is still on the spooky side along with Wednesday, but
Yeah.
in a more
in
fun
a
way, not
different
in a like
capacity. Yeah, in a
terrifying
fun
way.
capacity. Yeah. And I like the first Beetlejuice, so I'm excited to see what they bring to the table with this one.
Yes. And you know who else is in Beetlejuice?
Catherine
Catherine
O'Hara.
O'Hara. She's
Hey.
also in
And
The Last of Us Season 2.
which is wild. Who is she gonna play?
I have no idea. I don't know who's in that
We
game.
don't know. I think a lot of people are assuming that she will be playing a character similar to why can I not think of her name?
Mhm.
Cassie, she was
From
on your
Yellow
actors
Jackets.
list.
From Yellow
Jackets, yeah, from Yellow Jackets.
Oh, the
Melanie
PTA mom
Linsky.
lady?
Yeah, they're assuming that she's going to play a character kind of like that, where that character, where the character was an OC and is not in the video game.
Mm.
They're all OC. I feel like there needs to be a better term for that.
You know what I mean, though. It's a character that has been made specifically for the TV series that was not in the video game.
Wait, it's not an OC in the context of the show, right? If it's from another thing that's being adapted?
It's still an OC though, because like it's new from the source material.
I thought Cassie was saying that all the characters in The Last of Us are OCs.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they technically are, but
But it's not from... Okay, I don't... We'll get into
One
that later.
thing, the characters, whether they're in the show or the video game, are OCs. And so to call this one an OC feels weird because these characters, like, they're all original characters. None of them existed before, The Last of Us was created.
yeah, but we're calling them OCs
Okay,
in the sense
I
of
got you.
this was not in the source material, so therefore
I'm
they are
saying that
original
like
to this.
it's the show's OC from the game, not the Last of Us franchise OC from the Earth.
Even if Neil Druckmann is the person who created all of them.
Right? Yeah, they're all his.
But yeah, a lot of people think that she's probably playing a new character that was not in the video game. But they're keeping the role under wraps. Catherine O'Hara is just great in general.
Yeah, I'm excited to go in not knowing anything really about what the story is going forward, and I just know it's gonna make people mad because Cassie keeps expressing her excitement about people getting mad.
Oh,
I-
yeah, they're gonna be so
Yo,
I think
so
Laura-
angry.
I was about to say, yeah.
As we're talking about this, Laura Bailey is currently trending on Twitter because she did an interview or something where she was talking about how fans of that game were sending death threats to her newborn son because they hated her character so much. Which, by the way, all y'all deserve to catch hands.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
y'all to know.
That's like next
much.
level stupid.
Y'all are doing
Like,
too much.
There are just removed layers of stupidity you got to get to.
Yep.
To fictional character does something, so you go after the person who plays the character, but then you go after the person's kid because the parent plays a character who did something you didn't like in a fictional game. Like, they're OCs. This is not your ops. They didn't murder your family.
Also, I'm pretty sure that the kid was young enough to not even comprehend like language or understand what people are saying. So it's like that wouldn't even get to the intended target. I mean, I guess the target is her, but still, like, what are you trying to do?
And like would tag her in these death threats too. Like, nah, y'all can catch all these hands. Because Laura Bailey, first and most importantly, is a human being.
Yeah.
You don't treat anybody that way. But she's also she seems like a genuinely nice person. So like, leave her alone.
Also, like, dog, she was doing a voice and some motion capture. She was doing a job. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to send death threats to anybody, first of all, don't. But like, why her?
reading lines and wearing a mocap suit and just doing stuff
Right,
and having fun with one of her best friends who is the lead in the game.
Like, are you threatening Neil Druckmann with the same energy because he wrote the dang thing? So it's like,
Right, because that would still be stupid, but at least that would be the person responsible for this thing that made you upset. But also, if you're that upset, stop being a loser.
Go outside, touch some grass.
Touch grass. Touch so much grass.
Some people need their ass beat.
Touch grass. Just, I don't know. Just find a hobby that's not that.
Y'all need to be stuffed in a locker, because that is just ridiculous loser energy.
Bring back stereotypical old school ways of dealing with nerds.
Bring back 80s bullies. The movies.
Swirlies and everything.
The Creative Differences podcast does not advocate for violence and 80s style bullying. Essentially.
It does, however, recommend that you go outside and touch grass.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Oh, please go outside and touch grass.
Advocates of touching grass.
It's like, shut up. Touch grass.
This episode brought to you by grass. Go touch it.
On that note, I think we can wrap that up.
Oh, to me, we have one different opinion. That
I love that.
Yeah, just the one. You already responded to it off mic, but it's fine because this is on mic. It is from the Mean Girls review, and it is from Adriana, aka Kitty Lynx. Kitty Lynx is back.
Hey, Adriana.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure this person knows Gaby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Adriana says, finally watched Mean Girls last night, and I have to agree with Demi. It's so good, and I now love and need more Renee Rapp in my life. Going to have to binge The Sex Lives of College Girls next.
I want to thank you for giving me reason to talk about Renee Rapp again for no reason at all except to say that she is phenomenal and amazing, and she's so great as Regina George, and she's also great as Leighton Murray on The Sex Lives of College Girls. So I hope you enjoy that show. I did say that in my comment. I do need more Renee Rapp in everything, really. Everywhere, everything, everywhere, all at once. See, there's actually, what's funny is when you said touch grass, there is a quote that I was immediately reminded of that Renee Rapp said recently. And I was like, I need that sound bite so I can throw this in here.
Yes, throw it in.
So shut up. Be mad. Go home. Touch grass.
She's great. She's awesome. She's fantastic. All the words that you can say about her. We support Renee Rapp on this podcast. Mostly me. But you know, I'm trying to push it around. Cassie also supports because
it's not. No, there's a difference.
Put me on.
Support is not the word. There's supporting and there's like evangelizing, proselytizing. That is what you do.
People, I'm trying to put y'all on. The talent is insane.
Sometimes you got to put people on. I respect it.
Got to put people on. Though she is starting to get popular enough that I'm starting to see random people on Twitter fan cast her in comic book roles. Ooh, like in the last week, I've seen somebody fan cast her as Black Canary, which too young, but
Black Cat.
Nice thinking. And then I've also seen somebody fan cast her as Rogue this past week.
Cool.
Partially because she's Southern. So.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, yeehaw. All right.
Oh, yeehaw.
Oh, yeehaw. So occasionally you can catch that accent slipping, but she's from North Carolina. So
nice.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me a reason to talk about Renee Rapp. I didn't even have to do it this time. Somebody else just brought up I just hit the alley-oop. Thank you.
Yeah. Shout out to Kitty Lynx for the Domingo comment. And on that note, we've done all the things that we do. So thank you, audience, for listening to us do the things that we do. Thank you, Crown Digital, helping us do the things that we do. Brandon and Io, you put us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, doing the things so we can do the things that we do. You edited, you put us on YouTube. You saw Argylle, so I didn't have to watch it or review it alone. And I appreciate you for that.
I read a DC comic.
You did read a DC comic.
Actually, I finished a DC comic in time to do this podcast so I could talk about the DC comic that is being adapted.
Very
you
nice.
are. Speed reading. You Cat Williams out here.
I finished. Well, no, okay. I've been reading it for a while, but I had like 2 issues left, so I was like, let me read these last night. So
fair. Gaby, thank you for showing up, even though you haven't slept in like 3 days or whatever you got going on over there.
Like 20 hours.
It's been 22 hours.
Oof.
Yeah, 22 now. I would like to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
Thank you, Cassie, for your 10-minute take and bringing the passion that you bring to the Percy Jackson review, because every once in a while we get something that you really care about, and I'm always happy when we do.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah, we love that.
Yeah.
We love that.
Love
Audience,
that for you.
what did you think of Argylle? What did you think of Percy Jackson? Was Percy Jackson everything that your nerd heart desired? Do you read a lot? On a scale of me to Cat Williams, how much do you read? Let us know.
I'm definitely closer to you.
I feel like most people don't read 3,000 books a year or whatever. But yeah,
I
let us
feel
know
like
in the
he
comments.
counts comic books.
As specified, they're all nonfiction books. Y'all can hit us on Twitter at y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast, Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC, or TikTok at Creative Differences Pod. If you want to talk about The Bear with someone who's just now watching it, find me on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba.
Hi. If you want to talk to me about literally any of the things we talked about today, you can talk to me on Instagram at Stegosaria.
Tell me where to find a Camp Jupiter shirt, because I need that in my life. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sassy Soothsayer. God, I can't say my own name. Demi, why are you giving me that look like you're confused?
I didn't look at you like you're confused. I was laughing at that. You couldn't say it.
Fair.
Yeah, you haven't tried Etsy?
No, I haven't.
Because I think I've seen somebody with a Camp Jupiter shirt. Anyway, off topic. Irregardless, if you guys want to talk to me about Millie Alcock playing Supergirl, which is what I'll be talking about for the next few weeks, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram. No, find me on Twitter at Demi_Joie, Joie spelled Joie. Thanks again for joining us. Tune in next time. I don't know what we're doing next time. It might be a throwback.
All right, we'll see. Y'all will see. Y'all find
throwback?
out with us.
It might be the throwback you're thinking of.
Oh, yes.
I'm living.
Oh no.
Yes.
Unless Cassie goes to see Lisa Frankenstein.
Oh.
Oh no, wait. Our next episode might be a Madam Web review. Still fun, but not quite as fun as the throwback.
Here we go.
Valentine's Day plans. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's been different. Bye.
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 All right, Gaby.
Yes.
Before you fall asleep, I need you to tell me, what are your thoughts on Henry Cavill's tongue in the new trailer that was
No, I knew you were gonna do this to me.
Of course.
You know what my thoughts are, Dallas.
I don't know. I'm curious.
When I saw that, I was like, ah!
But what does that mean? What is that emotion supposed to? What are your what words come into your mind?
I can't quantify.
There are no words.
That's why there's
Cassie,
a scream.
That's the point.
I clutched my pearls and I screamed.
That works.